I
it.
know, it's nice.
So fancy. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Do Up Picture Today podcast. I am Hannah. I am here with Aaron. Hello, Aaron.
Hello, hello, everybody.
Hello. Hello. For those who aren't watching, Aaron is wearing, I already commented on it, but it's pretty much the coolest blue button up shirt of all time.
Oh,
Um,
thanks.
of course, it's got the vibes. Got the vibes. So I asked Aaron to run the podcast today because I saw a video of him running at a very nonchalant sub 5 minute mile, pacing someone else. I think it was Matt Choi. And your actual best time for the mile was, I think it's 4:03, right?
Right, yeah, 403.
That is, I still am wrapping my head around that.
Yeah, don't
But
worry, so am I.
oh
So
my
am I.
God, man. So I saw that and I was like, whoa. I stumbled upon your account on Instagram. I did go a little bit deeper, and the vulnerability that you have about chasing your dreams in Austin and being a professional runner, I thought that vulnerability is something very authentic and raw because you
Mhm.
don't always see people put their dreams on their sleeve for the world to
Right,
see.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah. And so I thought that was just a call out to you for just kind of being
Yeah.
like, whatever it takes, that mentality. But I basically, to start us off, so I noticed, I mean, you and I chatted
Mhm.
prior to me hitting record
Right.
that you moved to Austin to pursue your dreams of, is it being a professional runner? Is it, what are the
So
dreams that you're
it's
chasing in Austin?
so yeah, essentially I moved to Austin. I've been training with this coach for a while now. He coached me throughout high school, and he kind of always had like a projection of me in the future, saying like I think you could be probably one of the top distance runners in the US and hopefully eventually take on the world. And I mean, I thought that was a pretty big step, so I was kind of like a little hesitant when I moved to Austin, but as soon as I did and started training, I became more motivated off of that. And yeah, now starting my journey, I wanted to become a professional runner. And over the months and creating these videos and doing more races, I was able to achieve some deals. And so we're slowly working through that progress. But yeah, it's been going good. And mhm,
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
Because I've heard that the Austin community in regards to running is one of the best.
Oh,
Like it's,
yeah, it definitely is. Everyone's so welcoming. Everyone's just so like everyone's just feeding off their energy out there. It's absolutely insane, and to just be a part of that running community, it's honestly really nice because it makes me feel like a home away from home. And not only that, I just noticed it in Austin, but everywhere else I go, I see all their run clubs, run groups, and they kind of have that same atmosphere where everyone's just like so welcoming, and it's awesome. I think it's a great time to be in and a great time to be a runner at the moment.
yeah, for sure. Because do you train, again, total creep, I'll own the creeper vibe. I looked and saw
Mhm.
that you run with a group called, is it Bat City?
Yes, Bat City. So yeah, Bat City was formed not too long ago. My coach just started training runners on the side, and eventually he was able to get a little bit more certified. And the question is, why Bat City? At first, I questioned that too. I was like, why Bat City? Like, what? So in Austin, there's actually a bridge called Congress, and underneath it, during like dawn or so, bats will come out. So I guess it's kind of like Austin's more revolved around that. So I guess it was just kind of like a iconic, ironic name just to like name ourselves Bat City.
I'm so much, you told me that. I would never have put that together. I
Uh,
was thinking it was like maybe he's into Batman. Like that was not where my head went at all.
no, no, definitely. You're not the first one to say that either. It's pretty funny.
Hey, I love the creativeness. Oh
Hmm.
man. So you're fully in Austin now, but I
Right.
also talk to me about, because I think you've been running for 8 years, a little bit less, and you
Yeah.
mentioned just kind of picking it up as a sport to keep you occupied, or how did you get into running?
Yeah. So I started off as a skateboarder. I was a
Oh,
heavily into skateboarding. Did it for a couple of years and had a quite good bad injury actually. I broke my ankle and it kind of swayed me away from the sport a little bit. Just kind of coming back and being a little bit nervous again on the board. Um, I didn't know what to really do. I did like track a little bit in middle school just to keep myself out of trouble, and I wasn't really like anything. And I was just like, all right, just hanging out with friends. And then my dad was the one that pretty much influenced me into getting into running. He's like, I think you should try it again. He was a distance runner. And I was just like, I'm not too sure. I ended up going to high school, and I was kind of getting in trouble big time throughout like freshman and sophomore year. I wasn't really having the right mind space and wasn't doing too well in school, and I kind of needed something to just bridge that gap where it can just keep me focused and
Mhm.
get me throughout the years. So I joined track. Like I was part of the cross country, I mean, and track team already, and I ended up getting with the coach that I work with now. Um, I got connected with him, and he kind of just talked me through like the process of like training wise, and I had no idea like what I was doing. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let's give this a go, and started running seriously, like training for it, motivated about it right after my sophomore year. And ever since then, like I just been hooked.
Yeah. When was the moment? Because you played at you or not played, you ran at Tulane.
Right.
Yeah. When
Mhm.
was the moment you're like, oh shit, like I could be recruited for this? Like, oh shit, there's more to this than just a college or a high school sport.
Uh-huh. So I think it was like between my junior year. Yeah, it was like around my junior year. I started running like really good times, and I started PRing and winning races. And my coach was like, "Okay, you're getting to a level where you could be going to school for this and running." And I didn't think that was possible. I thought college was just school. That was it. And he's like, "No, there's like a whole new world about that. Like it's been going on for years. You could go
Oh
to
yeah.
school, compete, and yeah, you can just even become professional after that." And I was like, okay. So I got recruited by a small school called McNeese State out of Lake Charles, Louisiana, and I was on a full ride there. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to that school. Did 4 years there, and then on my senior year, my plan was to move to Austin already, but I had 1 year of eligibility just because of COVID. So I was like, okay, maybe I should explore my options and see what else I can do. And I was very thankful and grateful to get an offer to Tulane. And so yeah, I did that, went to that school, and yeah,
Fuck,
graduated from
that's
there,
so
and now I'm
awesome.
in Austin.
Damn. I forget about the COVID because I
Yeah. Oh my
graduated
goodness.
in 2017.
Yeah.
What was that like? Because you get an
It
extra
was
year of eligibility?
yeah, that was nice. It was nice. We got an extra year, but it was rough too, because not only did I get hit by a COVID, but our school got destroyed by a Category 4 hurricane. And it was a double whammy. So I had to go back home and stay there until I think it was like 8 months until I went back to school. But like all the other kids were already at school already, and like from other conferences and stuff. And yeah, I was away just because of that hurricane.
Yeah. Damn. So that fifth year was actually like really a fourth year for you to get to
Yeah,
experience
right.
college.
Yeah, no, we
Jesus.
didn't. Yeah, it was rough. That was a rough year for us. Yeah,
COVID and a fucking hurricane. All right.
I know, right?
Jeez
Yeah.
Louise. So you graduated from Tulane. You had 5 years, technically five, but more like
Right,
four. You're in
exactly.
Austin. Talk to me about because when did you run your 403 mile?
I ran my 403 mile at Tulane.
Okay.
So, yeah, when I went there, my previous mile time before that was around like 4:12, 4:13. But my coach never really focused me on the mile at my
Yeah.
previous school. And when I went over to Tulane, I remember the coach, well, that was his first question is like, what do you want to do here? Like, what mark do you want to leave off of? And I was like, well, I think I can do a sub 4 mile. I think I could. And I'll like to go for that if that's possible. And he didn't even hesitate. He's like, I know you can do it. Let's do it. So I was like, all right, let's go. And yeah, I still remember that day. It was in Vanderbilt, Nashville. I ran 403. I was really sick. I was really sick that day. I had body aches and fever. I remember that. And I have a friend named Artis. He's from Lavia, and me and him were roommates. And he didn't even want to stay in the same room as me because I was just coughing and had body aches. And that same day, I went to go run 403, and the amount of painkillers I probably took is probably illegal, but I had to do what I had to do and to feel better. And
Yeah.
yeah, it squeaked away at the 403. I thought I was gonna break four there. It was a bit rough, but I mean, I still take it. Like to this day, I was like, all right, 403. Like I still can't believe I did that.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah,
I was talking to my husband about it because he follows running as well. He was,
nice.
and then I did further research as like the nerd that I
Hmm.
am, and realized that the best time is I think 3:43. So
Oh yeah,
the world
It's
record.
insane.
It's
It's insane.
insane. But I mean, it's only, and it's probably a lot if given the fact that,
Mhm.
you're running a lap in under a minute each time, but it's
Right.
5 seconds less per lap and you're there, right? So it's 20 seconds you're
Mhm.
shaving off. Do you have any interest in trying to beat your 403? Or are you just like, nah,
Oh
I
yeah.
did that. Oh, okay.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Me and my coach are already talking about it. Hope we have a race already lined up for it. It's gonna be next year, February time around Boston. We are gonna try to go for the sub four, and hopefully I get it. We're just gonna go for it. I transitioned into road, so I don't really do the mile anymore. So I'm more like
Okay.
10K, half marathon, marathon base, which is kind of odd, especially like for some of the listeners. Like, that's a weird jump, mile to marathon. Like, what the heck? Who does that? Trust me, I'm in the same boat as you. I question it all the time. But yeah, we are gonna go for a sub 4 minute mile next year, so I'm excited for that.
Oh my God. That's so exciting. So I'm sure you have already read this book, Endure. Have you read
I
Endure?
haven't actually. I've been trying to
Okay.
read more books if I'm being honest. There's a guy named
No,
Brock
it's
Kelly.
good.
He's recommended me a couple books.
Because it
So
reminds me of like, it's literally about a guy who chases the sub 4 mile. I think I'm
oh,
saying
that's
it. Is it
awesome.
Endure? I have the book behind me, but there's a book,
Uh-huh.
and I'll message you because maybe I got the title wrong.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
for sure.
just this guy who just focuses on a sub 4, and
Awesome.
at the
Yeah.
end of the book, he describes what his body goes through. Like
Yeah,
those, it's excruciating. Can
yeah,
you
it's definitely tough.
talk to me about
Hmm.
it? Because I'm curious.
Yeah, 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 for sure. It's definitely you're just possibly running as fast as you possibly can and putting your body through limits where it's never been before and training for it. Um, there'll be times where I'll finish workouts and I can just taste blood, like I'll run like, yeah, it was brutal, and the amount of times I've been sick is pretty excruciating. But yeah, I mean, training for it was definitely intense. It was crazy though, and it was very, very an experience to go through. But yeah, my coach is like, all right, Aaron, today's gonna be tough, but it's just gonna be one of those days where you just gotta meet the man upstairs and ask him a few questions because that's what workout's gonna be. It's like, huh.
I like that.
But
Meet the man upstairs and ask him a few questions. That's a good
yeah.
way. That's a nice way of putting you're about to get your ass kicked, kid.
Hmm. No, yeah,
That's
exactly.
awesome.
But yeah, it was definitely intense training, but you adjust to it, which is I think really fascinating. Like you can be starting off your first workouts running sub minute laps, and you're like, oh my god, I don't know how I can do this for 4 more laps. I don't know if I can continue this. And then given time, like over the weeks, you know that you get adjusted to the speed, you get adjusted to the lactic, and it's just amazing how that works.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. And what to you is kind of the thing that you've noticed? Because I've heard the third lap. The third lap, and
Yes.
I think it's also applicable to like different races, maybe even different to life. It can apply.
Hmm.
The third lap is usually the slowest like lap.
Yeah,
Um,
because I think
yeah,
yeah,
what do you
all the
think that
nerves I
is?
think go down, all the adrenaline kind of settles in, and it gets a little bit. I feel like for me, like when I was running that third lap, like I just was overly thinking about breaking the 4 minute barrier, and I think it gives you a lot of pressure and it gives you a lot of like how do I say it? Like it just builds you up in how do I say it? Like nervously, I guess. So it kind of builds up like anxiety because you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna do it. Oh my god, I'm gonna do it. You kind of psych yourself out, you know,
Yeah,
and it kind of makes you like tired. But like I know I've heard like other people say like, oh my god, that third lap was just so hard. Like every time when I hit the third lap, I knew this would be the hardest lap and it wouldn't be as bad because I was just thinking about it so much. I was like, okay, this one's gonna hurt, this one's gonna hurt. And when I got to it, probably didn't as hurt, but yeah, around that range, people usually tend to fall off and you gotta at least stay strong because as soon as you get to that third lap, you only got 1 lap to go. And I mean, anyone could
exactly.
do 1 lap.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought that was interesting because I mean, you can apply sort of obviously not the same thing because the distance varies, but you hear like the 20
Right.
mile,
Yeah.
the
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 wall.
wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I hit that I hit that wall already. That was brutal. That was brutal.
So if you're going to be training to, or at least one of your goals is to do a sub 4 minute mile, and you're
Yeah.
going to do that next year. What else are you? What are your goals? I think it's so cool that you posted that
Mhm.
you're just a guy following your dreams in Austin. I want to know What
Yeah.
else are you chasing over there in Austin?
Yeah, I'm chasing numerous things. One to just obviously be a better athlete. I like to do another marathon and actually train for one this time and get the nutrition down. I have two kind of lined up. We're on the fence for them. We're either going to do Chicago or there's another one called Indy. So we're on the fence for that. We're going to see which one is a better choice for me and do one of those. I am going to be racing next week actually. We are going to do a race out in Maine called Beach to Beacon. It's a 10K out there. I don't know if you're too familiar with it, but it's a pretty good fast race. But yeah, I'll be doing that. It's on the road. I like to just try to go in PR for that and hopefully lower my time a little bit more. And but I say other goals I have for myself in Austin. I work at a small little local running store, and I think the biggest goal for me is just trying to become more involved with the community. I like to keep my see if I can get more followers on Instagram and keep putting my story out there to just help motivate others that no dream is too crazy, no dream is impossible.
Aw. That
Yeah.
was like the best answer I think I've ever gotten. That
Oh,
was so fucking wholesome. I love that. That's
thank
great.
you.
I also like so you work so your whole world is running. If you're working at like a smaller running store too.
Hmm. No, yeah, I'm definitely blessed to be there. When I was moving to Austin, I was kind of in a one-way road where I was like, man, what am I gonna do? I mean, I have a degree to fall on, but the job market right now is pretty tough, especially in Austin. No one was really hiring, and it was pretty tough to even find a place as well. And I was thankful for this local running store called the Loop Running Supply to help pursue and give me a job. And yeah, from there it's just been great. We do community events, we do other events like with Nike on and all that stuff. So just to be around that world is just amazing because obviously I'm just running. And when I was in college, like all I thought was like just fast people, like only doing fast things. And when I got outside of college, I went into that local running store, and it's just like it's not only about running fast, but it's about the community. It's about people feeding off each other, like of motivation, and continue just to like pursue other people's dreams, like to see their dreams as well. And it's great, like just doing those events really helped me open my eyes, just seeing the excitement in others people's faces, and like seeing the excitement being like, oh my god, I just ran 5K and I averaged 10-minute mile. It's like the best thing ever. Like seeing that, I'm just like, yes, love it.
Yeah.
Like this is running. This is all it's about. So yeah.
Yeah. I think the same thing as well. It's very
Hmm.
much out of all the not maybe not of all, but a lot of the sports, if you strip it down to its core, it's running and
Right.
it can be by yourself or it can be with people. And there's
Yeah,
usually a
exactly.
story to tell with other runners
Hmm.
that you're running with.
Yeah,
So
exactly. It's
yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. Um, so if you're wow, so you got that as your goal. What does your kind of your week usually look like? Like or a day? What is a day in the life of Aaron training for all of the goals he's about to accomplish?
A day in a life, it's a little bit unstable just because
Hey, beauty
I
in that.
yeah, I feel like every day is a different day for me. It just kind of falls into place like as soon as I wake up. So I wake up, I try to get out the door, do my run, my first run at least, if depending on the day, if I do a double or not. Morning run, come back, I'll eat, shower, depending what time I have work, probably rest a little bit, watch some TV, or take a nap, and then go straight to work that day. And we do run clubs every Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if it's that day, obviously do the run club and stuff like that. And then after that, I usually go home or I usually hang out with my good friend Diego. So if he's watching this, shout out to him. We always hang out and just kind of like do like we just go out to eat sometimes and just walk around and kind of just talk and laugh and everything. So we just do that, and if not, I'll just probably go home, make dinner, and just lay in bed and watch TV. So, I mean, kind of live a
Yeah.
boring life. Unfortunately, I like to kind of venture out more and be more surrounded with like friends and family. But mhm.
Yeah. So would you say because damn, I think you're probably in the pain cave more than anybody else. And I use like the pain cave is just kind of like
Mhm.
you're putting yourself in a situation where your body is like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah,
Whether it's like pushing
yeah,
yourself to new limits or distances
right,
or exerting yourself. How do you think
yeah,
you deal with that level of like, maybe it's an inner self critic or pushing the boundaries on what you think is possible? How do you wake up and like,
right.
yep, we're going for it?
Yeah, so like on the workouts and everything like that, I try to get into a mental state where I'm like, let's just try to be better today. Let's push beyond. Let's be a strong runner. Let's be a runner who you want to be. And during workouts, yeah, it's tough. But I like kind of putting myself into this state where I'll feel like that during a race and kind of like put myself into like the world of hurt early on. That's why I can just kind of get better at holding it and pushing through it. And I always like thinking like before I go and warming up, like just thinking about how far I've came and just thinking
Mm-hmm.
about like all my family and friends, like thinking about how they're supporting me and how they're how they see me. Like they see me as like, wow, this guy's really making it. This guy's gonna do great. And obviously trying to believe in that and trying to back that up with myself as well. So I'm like, okay, I'm here for a reason. I would have probably been done running if I needed to be, if it was meant to be, but I'm still here and I'm grateful for it. So I want to make every day the best and I want to just push as much as I can. And I think that definitely helps with my mentality because it helps me like work harder even through the pain. So
Yeah. Yeah. I always find that interesting to figure out because I feel like running is such a, I mean, all sports are mental, but I feel like
right.
running is so mental because there
Yeah.
aren't distractions. You know, there's
Yeah,
not a
it's
soccer
exactly
ball to kick, there's not a basketball to
right.
throw.
Hmm.
And so I always like to know about like runners, especially ones such as yourself that are like pushing themselves day to day
Yeah.
basis. Like, what does your
Hmm.
mentality look like? So that's,
It's just, yeah, it's definitely just like when I'm running and I'm just like, okay, we're on a good pace. And I just think about like my future races coming up and like who the runner I want to be. Like, I'm like, I want to be, obviously in my head, I'm like, I want to be the best in the world. I want to be the best in the world. You know, like that's all
yeah.
that I say to myself. Like, let's be number one in the world. Let's be the strongest athlete out there. Let's be the greatest one. And it helps me big time.
Oh, yeah.
But then like when I'm done running, people are like, oh, I'm just like, I kind of like keep that inside. So,
Yeah. That's awesome. Have you ever, I don't know, one of my coaches in college, because I played basketball in college, she had me
mhm,
hold up my arm and she'd push against it and she would tell me, like, not bad things, like she was shitting on me or anything like that, but
right.
just like, you're worthless, and your body
Uh-huh.
actually becomes weaker. Not on, I'm
Wow.
not doing it on purpose, but the
Right. Yeah.
words actually affect.
It kind of brings you
And
down. Yeah.
yeah, and then she did it again, and she was like, "You are strong, you are capable," and she was like, "Push against my arm," and you felt I got
Yeah, you're
stronger.
alone. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's
So
cool.
yeah, it's super cool. That's why I think like the
Yeah.
mental aspect is so fascinating because if you can find
Hmm.
while you're in a level of pain and still have the ability, like you were talking about that you do, if you're
Right.
in pain and still find the reason to push yourself forward, there's not anything you really can't do. It's the
Right.
negative
Of
or the
course.
inner critic that'll get you.
Yeah. And I definitely learned that the hard way on some occasions where I just let so much negativity thoughts get in my head and it could have been a bad week, bad month, and I was just like letting so much negative things happen and yeah, your performance does deteriorate. Like you just get into this world where you're like, I can't do anything. You know, I can't do it. And it does bring you down and you do feel like, wow, like I'm not doing anything with my life. But like as soon as like um I say like I've met a lot of great people in my life and they've always helped me and having those people around really drives that needle up and you just like realize that a lot of the stuff like you're in charge of and having like positive people around you and positive an atmosphere can just go so much and I think I've definitely experienced that and with the positivity I felt myself just like being the strongest I've ever been so it's definitely interesting. Hmm.
Yeah. So when you are in a rut or you're stuck, because I think a lot of people when they have training blocks, myself included, like you've got the goal, it's however many days away. You're like, fuck, I'm
Hmm.
not getting there. I'm not delivering the numbers that I want.
Yeah, it's tough.
How do you reset? How do you snap
Hmm.
out of it?
So yeah, before I used to be like that, like, oh man, I'm not gonna hit it. I'm not. And my coach would tell me like, look, just think of it as a piece of paper. One bad day is not gonna determine the rest of your, or one bad week is not gonna determine your training. One bad week or one bad day is not gonna deter your race. So it was mainly like a lot of like mentality, and I know a lot of people do struggle with injuries, and I've been fortunate enough to not have an injury. But yeah, during that during that time, it is tough, like just to kind of like, oh, I'm not getting anywhere. But you just kind of have to remember, like, okay, I've been through this before. I've came a long way. You know, like I don't have. to be no one's expecting anything out of me except myself. And as soon as you separate that and you want to be as good as you want to be, it does kind of take some weight off of you.
Mhm.
So then, yeah, you do end up like kind of just shaking out of it. Especially for me, like if I have a bad workout, I'm like, it's okay. Like there's many more days to come, and this is all a learning process. And this is not going to be the only race that I do. You know, I'll keep doing races, so like,
Yeah.
that usually helps me. Mhm.
Yeah, kind of looking at it big picture as well. One
Right.
bad day
Yeah.
doesn't determine the rest of the your
Exactly.
running
Hmm.
career. Yeah,
Right.
that's really cool. So it sounds like you're a motivated person. Let me just put that out
Right.
there. It's awesome to see. You can tell how
Uh,
passionate you are when you talk about it. So
Thank you.
where
It
does
took a while. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. It took a while. It took a while.
I would have never guessed, man. Never would have
Yeah.
guessed. Um, so where does all this passion come from? Because when you talked about running 8 years ago, trying to get out of trouble, and then you realized the
Hmm.
opportunities that came out of it, and now you're
Right.
hooked. So what's driving
Right.
you now?
I think what's driving me is that I've accomplished barriers that I've never thought I would be able to, and I kind of like whenever I'm not motivated, I just think about it. I'm just like, why did I get this far? Like neither of my parents ran. I have an older brother. He didn't run either. Like really, they don't really run competitively or anything, and we never knew like where this running comes from. And I think what really like questions me and motivates me about it is just like, look how far I've gotten and look how much time I progressed. Look how like much I've improved, and I'm always like number like the top person to like in my group, like working out. Like I'm like, why is this all happening to me? Like when I do races, like I'm expected to finish like at the top 10. So I'm like, there's something there. I'm still trying to grasp it fully. I don't know what type of runner I am, unfortunately. But I think we're slowly getting there, and I think that motivates me to just keep pushing to that untapped like potential and see where I can do and just try to be like I said, like one of the best runners in the world. And I think that really drives me because I want to be on that stage. You know, I want to win races, big races. You know, I want to take on the Olympic scene, and I think that really drives me.
Yeah. It's cool to hear you say that, like the driving force, because I think
Hmm.
it resonates with a lot of people is, you start at a certain age, you didn't know you were
Right,
going to be into running, and then you accomplish the goals that you set out to accomplish, and then
right.
you're like, shit, what else could I do? And then you do
Yeah,
something
exactly.
bigger,
You
and you're
just.
like, it
Hmm.
never ends. Shit, what else I can do? And
No,
so
yeah, definitely. It's like it's not necessarily being like, oh, I'm never satisfied. It's funny, 'cause I'm wearing a hat saying satisfied, but it's
you are, that's okay.
yeah, but it's never like, oh, I'm never satisfied about it. It's not like that. It's like, okay, I did this, but what else can we do? You know, like
Hmm.
how much further can we push? Like,
Yeah, we're
that's it.
we're we're curious creatures, because I'm the same
Right.
way.
Uh huh.
Because
Hmm.
I've not near the caliber of runners you are. My God, very few people are, but similar. I'm like, shit, I'm never running a marathon. Ran a marathon. Like, okay, let's try
Yeah.
that again. Did it again. All right,
Right.
let's run an
And you're
ultra.
like, why am I doing this?
Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this
Yeah.
myself? But there's something really addicting to the fact of,
Hmm.
like, by accomplishing of what you think you couldn't accomplish,
Right.
what else can you do? It's like
Exactly.
curious. What else? And it applies to so many other areas. It's, I think,
Yeah.
why
It does.
people that
No, yeah, it
run and do
definitely
other
does.
things, like they're
Hmm.
business owner, like it applies to like better relationships. So
Right. No, yeah, it definitely does. Hmm.
that's cool. It's cool to hear you say that too, because like I'm just the average Joe Schmo, and I'm like,
Ah.
I'm talking to a 403 runner who thinks the same thing I do.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. So, what is your favorite workout? Like, if you got to pick, like, all right, I'm your coach, Aaron.
Okay.
What are we doing
Uh-huh.
today? Tell me.
Definitely tempo. I love tempo stuff.
Tempo?
Long tempo runs is the best. I don't know why I like it, but I do.
What's a long run to you, though? What is.
Oh, so I like. I've been trying to get into more longer runs. I've been doing 18 to 20 miles, and I want to go a little bit more. I want to kind of get used to like that marathon feel, which I mean, it's kind of my coach always tells me, he's like, yeah, that'll be cool, but we'll see. I was like, okay, I understand, but like I like to like do like more than 26 miles for my long runs
Mm,
just to kind of get into how it's gonna feel during that race. I would like to practice like my nutrition and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's a good one. Like, have you seen? I actually had his name is Charlie. He's able to do. He did the world record for the 50 mile,
yeah,
and it
yeah,
was something like that. It wasn't any elevation, but
right.
he was not necessarily. I don't know if he was doing like mile record a sub 4 mile, but he got
hmm
into marathons and he was like, I want to
right.
try going longer.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, that's
that's
interesting.
awesome. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I've seen him too. I think I raced against him once. But
probably.
yeah, I've heard about him. Yeah, yeah, he's pretty
Yeah,
good.
he's a sweet guy. He's everywhere. I swear.
Yeah,
Like I saw him at like I'm in LA, and he was at a
nice.
coffee and chill event, which is a very LA thing to
Yeah.
say. Coffee and chill, and he was there. I'm like, oh, you don't even
Oh,
live
that's
here.
cool.
What are you doing? Yeah, he's everywhere.
Yeah.
That man. What is
Yes.
your for us muggles? Because I'm a muggle here. Because my average mile on like a long run is like 8:30, 8:45, maybe even 8:45. What even 7:30? What are you averaging?
Mhm. Uh, it depends on like on the tempo run or on the long run.
Let's do okay. You're gonna do a 20-minute long run or a 20-mile long
Okay,
run.
I'll probably start off like depending on the day. Because sometimes I train with this guy named Parker Stenson, and sometimes we start off like at 6:15, six flat pace right off the end, and yeah,
Jesus.
we're like, all right, we're doing this. But whenever it's by myself and we don't have to like work out that day, I like starting off like around 7 minutes, slowly work down to the 6:30, 6:20 range, and then my last probably 8 miles, try to break it down a little bit, go a little bit more quicker, like six flat to six under, and yeah, see how we do.
Dang, that's awesome, man. Does it feel like you're flying? Because I bet like you're moving fast.
To be honest, no. It gets easier as I guess because my body gets warmed up to it,
Uh huh.
and I'm on my feet for so long, and towards the end of those miles, I'm just feel like I'm just floating. I just feel like everything's so slow for me. It just feels like an easy pace, which is kind of interesting.
That's good though. Dang. So okay, so you briefly mentioned the Olympics, but I was curious if you were going to mention that. So you have
Mhm.
an upcoming race in Maine. You have a
Right,
potential Chicago marathon you're going to go
right,
for, and then you also have
hmm
the Olympics that you talked about. So what
right.
else are you looking forward to in this year and next year
hmm
for a goals perspective?
So definitely a faster marathon time.
Okay.
Hopefully, yeah, on the fence again for Chicago or Indy. After that, I don't have really anything planned up. I might take a week or two off just to kind of enjoy, uh,
Yeah.
be a normal person for once for a little bit, and then from there, I think there's a couple races like in November, probably December, and then from there, I guess me and my coach will kind of run things again and say like, all right, well, what's next? Obviously we want to go to Boston and try to break four, but after that next year. I'm not too sure. The Olympics, my other Olympic cycles in 2028. I sadly missed this shot, but in 2028, obviously we're gonna see what race we can go for. I think the qualifying window opens 2 years before, so
Oh,
probably try to,
really?
or either I think either 2 years or 1 year. I could be wrong,
Okay.
but
Mm.
yeah, I'll just try to do that. Try to qualify within that early year. That's why I can just focus on that. But I say that yeah, it's kind of still in the air of what I'm gonna do after my marathon in next year.
Yeah. So I have a couple more questions, and I have
Mhm.
rapid fire questions, which are more kind of
Got it.
fun, getting to know
Right.
you a bit
Yeah.
better. So with the fact that you're in Austin chasing your dreams, professional runner, there's also
Mhm.
kind of the brand side of things.
Right.
And as there's no rule book on like how to navigate, companies working with you and all
Yeah.
of that. How are you doing with all of that? How is that going?
Yeah. So I think social media is the big cause of that.
Oh, okay.
My friend talked to me about it, and he was like, "Yo, I think you should start doing some videos of you, putting on your story out there. That's why you become more exposed out there and a little bit gain a lot more followers. That's why brands and deals can work with you." And I didn't believe that was true, but yeah, it does work. Social media definitely has been one of like a 50 of my process of like trying to become a professional runner. And I think they see like the more followers you have, the more views you have, all that like you kind of like become an asset of the brand. They're like, well, look at this guy. This guy is really fast at running, and he's a people's person as well. You know, he's liked, he has a lot of followers. Like working someone with that, you kind of stand out a little bit more. So
Mhm.
yeah, definitely doing that has helped me connect with a lot more brands, and yeah, I'm very
Yeah.
very thankful for that. Okay, okay.
So
Uh-huh.
it goes kind of back to the negative
Right.
self-talk, the doubt thing. So for you, and I'm curious from a personal level because I struggle with this like when I'm going for runs. I
Got it.
tend to have like a negative voice, inner critic when I'm running. And I'm
Hmm.
curious if your strategy is to try to a if you have one, if you do have it like the doubts or the negative, do you
Hmm.
try to focus on turning your brain off, or are you trying to like is your brain inner battling with like no we can do it, like is that a thing, or am I just the
Yeah.
only one that okay,
No,
okay,
no, no. You're
all right, we're
100%
good.
correct. There's so I'm pretty bad with that. I'm not a morning person at all. So I'll wake up and be like, running? Nah, we shouldn't do that today. So I think my biggest struggle is to get up out of bed and get out the door. And I'll sit in bed and I'm like, and time's going by. I'm like, we gotta get out. We gotta get out. I'm
Mhm.
like, no, the bed feels comfortable at the moment. I just want to stay in bed. And then I'm like, tell myself, all right, well, we're pursuing this, you know, like we gotta train. We gotta get out there. So I think that helps me get out the bed. So as soon as I stand up and get out the door, I'm like, that's it. It's done. I'm going for it. And on my runs, yeah, I do. Sometimes it's just so hot and humid, and you're just like, oh, forget this, you know. And there's hills,
Yeah,
and you're just like, oh, you're like, screw it, I don't want to do this, you know. And
yeah,
I just tell myself, like, look, we're not gonna be running all day, you know.
yeah,
We only got what 30, 40 minutes left. We can do this, and you complete your run today. Look, you get to relax throughout the day. You get to enjoy yourself. So I that usually tends to do it
yeah.
for me, and yeah,
Okay, so
especially
you
in
kind of
races too.
yeah.
Races too, I'm like, oh, this hurts so bad. But I'm like, well, look, when we finish, we can eat whatever we want. We can do whatever we want. So yeah, that motivates me too.
Okay, so you bargain with
Yeah.
yourself. You're what I call a
Yes.
bargainer. Like, okay, we're gonna go for that, but we get to come back and chill.
Yes.
Okay,
Exactly. Uh-huh.
that's a good way to do it. All right, because
Hmm.
my thing is like I don't necessarily have a hard time getting out the door. It's
Got it.
like when I'm on a hill and I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I doing
Hills are,
this?
yeah, hills are horrible, especially in Austin. Like, surprisingly, it's pretty hilly there. I didn't think that was a thing, but yeah, it's pretty hilly there. And I'll be running up hills. I'm like, I feel like I'm walking, so I should just stop. But I'm like, no, let's just go. Let's just see. And I mean, sometimes I do stop. I'm like, ah, screw this. But yeah, it's definitely tough. Yeah, it's definitely tough.
Oh God, hills will suck your soul out. My
Yeah,
lord.
it does. It's terrible.
Oh man. Okay. So we've officially come to the part of the podcast. This is rapid
Nice.
fire questions. Okay.
Got it. Okay.
Favorite treat, salty or sweet?
So I have a big problem. I have a big problem with soda. I drink a lot of
Surpri-
Coke. Anyone that knows me on this podcast knows they're like, "Oh yeah, that guy eats like shit." So yeah, I definitely a sweet person. I like Coke, cinnamon rolls, pancakes, you name it.
Cinnamon rolls. All right.
Oh yeah, I love cinnamon rolls.
You know, you forget about cinnamon rolls. Huh.
Yeah,
Are
that's
are
true. Yeah, I do.
are cinnamon was it Cinnabon? Are the
Cinnabon.
Cinnabons
Oh
out
yeah,
there?
Cinnabon. Oh
No.
yeah, that place is good. That place is
Your
good.
face just like
Yeah,
lit
it's
up.
so good. Yeah, I love Cinnabon.
All right. All right. Coke and Cinnabon. Okay. Do you
Mhm.
do just the original, or are you like cherry? Like, there's some weird
Mm.
flavors out there now. Have you
Yeah,
seen like there's
there's.
like a spicy one or something?
Oh yeah, I don't know if I can do that. I'm real good with like if it has like pecans, some caramel. I'm like, oh yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. All
I
right.
definitely
I
get that
like
from
it.
my dad. Yeah, me and my dad are horrible with it.
I don't know. I guess because like my mom was like she never was a soda person, so like it never was in the house. So like when we
Mm.
go out, I got like a Sprite. That was like the biggest
Oh
thing.
yeah.
But I'm like more of like a all I want after a run is like a Gatorade. Like that's
Yeah,
I don't know about the bubbles. It's never really been my thing.
yeah. Yeah,
But
I do see that. But yeah, like whenever I'm done running, I like either like Gatorade. I really become a fan of orange juice and sweet tea. Like I just want to get like something like nice and sugary.
combined?
Not combined. No, no, no.
Oh.
Yeah, no. Sorry, everybody. No, 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 no. Not combined, but definitely like later on. So I'll do
I
orange
got you.
juice, and then yeah, like later on. All right, some sweet tea. Yeah.
I got you. I was thinking it was gonna be like
Mhm.
a Floridian or like a Florida Arnold Palmer, like some orange
Oh,
juice and some tea.
I
I was like,
mean,
all right, that's new.
yeah. I mean, might as well probably try it someday. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's a favorite place that you've been able to travel to?
Ooh, man.
Hmm.
I don't know, cause ooh, I really liked New York when I went there, but
Uh-huh.
honestly, like traveling to Arizona, I think it kind of equaled it out. I'd never been like northern Arizona, and obviously Flagstaff is such like a dream for runners. So
Yeah.
going there and seeing like the dirt trail, NEU, and just seeing like the little town and the mountains, I was just like, dang, this is actually it might top off New York. But yeah,
Oh
it's
shit.
it's a tough choice. So I think yeah, honestly, I think this last weekend was really, really good. But yeah, New York
Aw.
is also really nice as well. So it's tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tough choice, but I'd say yeah, between those two.
Yeah. New York is, I always like think of New York as very magical. Like it's magical. Like you go there and
Oh
it's like
yeah,
one in a lifetime experience type. Like, you go
exactly.
running through Central Park and there's like a
Mhm.
firefly and it's like,
Oh
wow,
yeah, it's beautiful in the
it's
subways.
beautiful.
A lot of people are like, "Ooh, the subways," but no, I actually enjoyed them. They're like, it's amazing. It's crazy, like how underground they are, and how some even go even further down underground. It's like, holy, who took the time to build this? You know,
I
like
know.
it's insane. And
But
your
thank
neck probably
God they
hurts from
did.
looking at the buildings. So yeah, I
Yeah,
know
so
your neck
true.
is like in full extent. But yeah,
I
it's
love
great.
it.
It's a great city. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree with you. What is one thing you want listeners to know about you?
Hmm.
One thing they take away.
One thing to take away. Just try to be the best version you can of yourself. I know it's tough sometimes, but I believe in you, and there's a lot of good people out there that also feel the same way about you. So yeah, just keep being motivated, and just keep pushing through those barriers and negative thoughts. So I'd say that, yeah.
Aw, that was so sweet, Aaron. That was awesome. Oh man. Okay, so one of my questions was what's a favorite book that you've ever read? But are you
So
if you go ahead.
I'm kind of like my friend let me borrow his book. It's called the Shoe Dog, I think, with Phil Knight.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm kind of reading through that one. And I like it so far. It's pretty good. It's kind of interesting how like Phil Knight's kind of started everything. So it's pretty interesting. I was
Yeah.
a big Steve Prefontaine fan throughout high school, so like kind of following those steps. It's actually pretty
Yeah.
interesting. So yeah.
Yeah, I've heard great things about that book. It's on my
Mhm.
list. It's just at the
Yeah.
very I'm one of those that I'm one of those people that has a list that just never ends because everyone's like,
Right.
"Oh,
Yeah.
this book," and I just get, "Oh,
No, yeah,
okay."
definitely. Uh-huh.
Okay. Last question. What
All right.
are three things that you're grateful for?
Definitely one, family and friends. That's probably two. Family and
That's
friends
okay.
definitely they help me push through a lot. Like whenever I'm down, like I have really good friends that help bring me back up, and my family's always been very supportive, and I'm really grateful for them. The second thing that I'm grateful for is just to be alive. I'm glad that I get to wake up every day, no matter what situation I'm in, and just enjoy the life and try to make the best of it. And the last thing I'm probably grateful for is, hmm, it sounds corny, but running. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
grateful for running. It's helped me tight connection to a lot of people. It's helped me open doors. It's helped me become a better self. So I definitely am am grateful for that. It's definitely given me an opportunity to see the world, help me get an education. So yeah, I think that ties everything.
Yeah.
Really grateful for running. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one. I'm very grateful for running as well. I think it's
Hmm.
an amazing thing. But
No, yeah, it's great.
that's the podcast. You did it, man. You
Awesome.
crushed it. All right, let me see.
We did
I'll
it.
stop recording. You did it. You did so good.